everybody. Uh, Guys, let me know if you can hear me in the chat. And I apologize if I really hope you can hear me. I apologize if I got for the late notice or whatever it is. Let's give it a shot. And the coolest part about this camera is it follows me as I move. Right? So there's that. I'm gonna check on my phone to make sure that I really am live. My The software I usually use. Awesome. Looks like I'm good. So the software I usually use, the one that puts like the comment on the screen, had a whole overhaul last week, and yeah, I can't really feature the comments as I'm responding to them. I'm gonna work on an alternative, but yeah. Without further ado, let's get to it. Um, it is Labor Day, so my newsletter feed is a little slow, but let's see. Let's see how it rolls. We'll start off with the legendary Smerconish newsletter. You might have realized in the thumbnail, I put a sort of cartoon of David and Goliath, and then I put six hostages. I hope it was clear that they were hostages, and then I put a picture of Kamala Harris. More on that later. So, of course, this is headlining everything today. Israelis protest, erupt in protest. This this may Israel is up in not arms, but in enraged and going through a whole nonviolent. It's amazing the lengths journalists are going through to say that nonviolent protests on Netanyahu demand Netanyahu secure a ceasefire deal because over the weekend, as I'm sure you heard, six hostages, one of which was an American, was found shot in the head at close range, and the IDF claims as they were closing in on those hostages. Uh, Two-thirds of Israelis want a ceasefire deal and to bring the hostages home. It's the theory of those Israelis that Netanyahu wants to stay in power for he wants to stay in power, so he's prolonging the war and hiding behind the veil of Israel will not be secure if I accept the deal that Hamas is willing to accommodate. Um, the same goes for Sinwar on the other side of Hamas. The longer the longer he keeps the war going, the more secure he is, in a way, at least. So there's that. I will get back to that. I'm sure it'll cover the headline of every newsletter. Um, 49ers rookie was released from the hospital. He got shot. He was a wide receiver. Um, he was shot in the chest, attempted robbery, bullet was missing vital organs. That was, I mean, with NFL drafts going on, that was wild. Um, Harris leads. Now, if you go back to what Michael was covering on Saturday, okay, Harris technically leads again in the national polls, in the popular poll. But if you still look at Nate Silver's uh, I guess, aggregate number, he went from 52.7% to 55% over since Michael's program. That Trump will win 52 to 55. Again, being that all these states are so close, A, to the margin of error, and B, evenly split, I tend to believe the race is just in simple terms 50-50. I maintain personally there are three things that can tip this election: expansion of the war with Israel, crash, or Trump getting sentenced, something with the indictments or sentencing or something like that. That can all tip the election either way, in my opinion. Hirsch Goldberg Poland, again, I'll get back to that later, but what a heartbreak because of his mom's plea at the DNC, seemingly just days before they executed him. Germany's far right victory. This is the AfD, or what's known as the alternative to Germany. They they never won before, and they won that local election. Eh, there's this idea out there that you look at global trends to see and sort of bring it back home to America and see what what that means, like, Brexit to predict Trump kind of thing. Right now, there are trends in all different directions because Brazil went left, France went right, Germany, I forgot where they went a few months ago, but it's all over the place now. And then Israel's going to go left. So I don't think you can really bring home a trend. And then right, and then the UK went left. I don't think you can really bring home a trend to read into our politics. Um, Americans are moving less. I'm sure that has to do with housing prices and moving costs, gas. California bans deepfakes. I'm interested to see how this gets implemented. Are they going to ban AI sites? What is considered a deepfake? Is a deepfake something that impersonates somebody, or is a deepfake something that AI uses? Because I can go to ChatGPT and make a logo just like that. Um, Many say college is not worth it. I mean, I'm guessing the line of attack here is that if it's indoctrination, of course it's not. Save America, make a friend. David French says make a friend. Well, national service. How does that sound? Texas lawmaker switches parties. Um, all right. And Oregon bans untraceable guns. I'm surprised untraceable guns weren't federally banned. I think everything has to have a serial number federally. The question would be what's untraceable? Cool. All right. TLDR. Remember this one, guys? Amazon to launch a new AI powered Alexa using Anthropic's Claude. So, you everybody knows about ChatGPT here. I think I've covered in the past. Claude is a different bot. A lot of people like Claude AI a lot better because of. Let me see if I can make this bigger for you. They like Claude AI a lot better because they said it's more. The prose is better, and you're also able to attach documents to your prompts, at least in a way you can't on ChatGPT. But now Amazon is powering with it. So if anybody has an Alexa at home, Amazon is not going to be relying on their own AI technology. They'll be going through Claude as well. Claude is a lot more powerful than Amazon's Alexa, and let's see where it goes. Um, right. It could engage in more complex context-aware conversations separate from Prime memberships. All right, increasing to 5 to 10 a month. Fine. Nvidia, the stock market's darling. I mean, I think I saw a stat without it, the S&P 500 would actually be down for the year. Nvidia is the one carrying the whole S&P on their shoulders. So thanks for the 401ks. Um, I saw a meme saying Nvidia is selling shovels in a snowstorm. Ozempic could delay aging. Now, guys, I don't know how you feel about this, but all right. So a study showed that it could delay aging, but it's a diabetes drug. I don't know if people should be taking diabetes drugs to lose weight. I know the FDA reclassified it, but it gets me skeptical. Um, the extinction, okay, interesting. And then I'm sure we've all had interactions with AI chatbots for customer service or something like that. Um, yeah, so an interesting case that may strike a chord with the Smerconish audience. What artificial intelligence is based on a certain data set, and if that data set is racist or has 10 times more representation of one perspective versus another, how can you untrain the artificial intelligence? It's something that we saw Google flare up with. If you ask Google to generate a picture of Benjamin Franklin or something like that, it'll do so in a black race kind of form. It was really weird, and people were saying that Google was overcorrecting for political correctness. So there was something going on there, and I guess that's what this article is about in the TLDR newsletter. Um, Bunch of sponsorships. Cool. Next. Whoops. Let's see another. Here is my funny enough, Google AI generated newsletter. Again, tens of thousands rally in Israel, far right party wins. We covered that. Um, I don't know what that is on the Wall Street Journal. Sorry, guys. I didn't see it in my reading. Microsoft says its recall uninstall option in Windows was just a bug. All right. Oh, this is something I know a little bit about. Windows 11 has a feature called recall. Windows watches your computer for 14 days, I believe, and then you can actually ask the AI and say, Microsoft, I was reading an article that had to do with fixing my computer's Bluetooth settings. Can you recall that article for me? And it'll go through your history of you using a computer and display to you that article that you were talking about. A lot of people, as you can imagine, had privacy concerns. This was supposed to roll out in May or April, and the uproar and the concerns were so broad that they said they're delaying the release of that feature. And they have that, and apparently an uninstall button showed up right next to that feature. I think it's supposed to launch in the coming weeks. So it gets me really, I don't know, worried that that same feature personally as a computer user. I don't think it's so far fetched from what the current big tech has on us, but that's just eerie in a certain way. New iPhone's coming out. It is the season. And then the TLDR marketing newsletter. Something we all do, get marketed to. Um, Interestingly, do websites even matter in the age of AI? Because you can right now. I'm working on a website, and I actually ask the AI, "Can you build it for me?" Um, so it's asking the questions of now even web designers, something that was accessible by remote work on the laptop class, that's being taken away. Generally, the laptop class was protected from the whole resurgence of AI. No longer. It's a good question to ask. The new report looks at social shopping. Social shopping. So a lot of what my demographic is doing before they buy something. I did this just a few weeks ago. I looked up certain people reviewing and buying product on YouTube before I made the purchase decision. So social buying is actually an increase, especially also at the brand that I own and operate. We have to recruit people to publicly shop for our product. A trend that you'll see on the rise. Unexpected LinkedIn algorithm, art of cold open storytelling. If you look at Scott Galloway, he says his number one skill that everybody should learn is storytelling. So to be featured in a marketing newsletter, that is something. All right, I guess here's a miscellaneous one that we can spend some time on. Three ways to earn your customers' trust. You should be aggressive, confrontational, try to understand questions, fears, worries, prospects. You know what this sentence means to me? It means you should just try to be human. Too many people are not being human, and showing vulnerability is one thing. So the more human you could be, the more you can earn trust. And I can definitely vouch for that firsthand as being on the other side of, let's say, customer support or email communication. Uh, yeah, just be straight up. If your product is not for them, be straight up and honest with them. Don't try to sell it, make the sale, and be an unsatisfied, have an unsatisfied customer. Why do prices rise like rockets but fall like feathers? I don't know. If you ask me, because people don't want to, they like making more money. But I guess yeah, there's more data there. I may open that article just to see what they say. Um, okay, great. Let's see what they do say. trying to skim. It's a good article to read. I feel pressured to just finish it up right now. Last but not least, Time Magazine. The Israel thing again. I will get back to scenes from Israel. Protesters blame Netanyahu. Yes. Um, Backlash over the Olympic rings on the Eiffel Tower. I guess they're charging France with defacing the Eiffel Tower. Why we can't wear white after Labor Day? Interesting fashion one. Anticipated movies of the fall. Paralympics is coming up. What in all this talk about hostages? I was held by a hostage by ISIS with Steven Sotlov. Railroad paved the way for the first Labor Day. I guess that's the history of Labor Day. Intense self-employment tax deductions. Alrighty. So let's go to it. My opinion, right? I guess that's the news for at least my that's the news for my newsletter feed for this Labor Day. And okay, so to my opinion, I guess for the optics of it, I will stop sharing my screen. Here we go. Whoops. Yeah. Okay, let me do the Kamala Harris thing first. Kamala Harris was putting out a headline yesterday. I'll see if I could get it up to show you guys that she is still the underdog. That's the narrative she's putting out. I don't know, any competitor knows the underdog always has favor behind them. There's no doubt Kamala has the machine behind her. The media is vehemently pro Kamala. The even by Mark Halpern's analysis, it's undeniable. Um, so here, the New York Times puts it perfectly. Let me share this again. Harris's team, with a wink, insists she's the underdog. Uh, she's not. She's not. She's the favored one, but she wants to maintain that status because it's more favorable to her. Uh, so there's that interesting angle she's taking, and also advocating for the mics to be unmuted. I think Michael's idea of she wants to use the strategy of Donald. I'm speaking. It carries water. I like how Michael put that forward. And lastly, when it comes to Israel, who's the David, who's the Goliath? I was talking among family members, and they said the six oh, how's my audio? I just saw that now. I should have checked in. Sorry, guys. All right, I'll finish this up. I'll see how the stream came out. On Israel. Right, so Hamilton, when I share my screen, can you hear me? That's the question. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm gonna have to look more into the streaming software later on. I use the temporary solution for now. Um, Let me finish up the Netanyahu point. That is so frustrating. Okay, thank you for letting me know. Okay, try speaking a little louder then. Let's see how this rolls. All right. The Netanyahu point. The hostages showed up dead because the IDF was closing in. Hamas has all the advantage because they have the hostages, and we care about life. By we, I mean the Western world, and frankly myself as a Zionist. What if Israel were to make a deal, get the hostages back, flip administrations, say it's a new policy, and we're going to come in and eliminate Hamas? I mean, that's one thing to do. But if the labor force is now shutting down Israel, like they were doing, and like what Netanyahu caved to when the Israeli court overhaul was happening pre 10/7, I mean, Israel's getting to a point where I don't know how much more Netanyahu can last. But then again, how much of a how much of it is within Netanyahu's control? Hamas still needs to accept it. Um, Blinken and Biden is said to be offering Hamas a take it or leave it kind of deal, and they're getting fed up with how the terrorists are being in these negotiations. Uh, but let's say the terrorists choose to leave it. I mean, they still have the upper hand. So, in me putting David and Goliath, you have Kamala trying to be the underdog. That's one separate thing. And the other separate thing is who's really the underdog in the Israel Hamas war? Who holds the cards? That's just my opinion on the headlines of the day. I apologize for the technical difficulties. We'll get it next time. I'm so sorry, guys. Thank you for the support, and I do hope to see you again. Again, I'm sorry for the technical difficulties. It's it strikes at me. You know, we tried. I'm sorry, guys. Everybody have a great day, and again, apologies if this was a waste of time. See you guys soon. Love you all.